Hi everyone, I have another interesting discovery to share with you regarding this flexible issue and flexible problems in Inventor. So here I have a properly constrained assembly that is fairly simple. This is basically a casing, and this is the handle with the axle and threaded rod and the nut. This is placed here as a flexible assembly. I will not explain now how it is constrained inside, but you can examine that only required degrees of freedom are left free for this to operate. So what is the purpose? This handle, when rotated, turns this threaded rod, and this piece is fixed in a casing here that is not shown, but it has a constraint, angle constraint to this surface, so it cannot rotate. Once this is rotating, this will travel along this rod, indicating the position. In the end, there is a chain wheel, so chain sprocket. So now I will show you how different setups behave. So currently I have it set up like when I'm turning the handle, you can see that the indicator travels back and forth. I will apply angle constraint between the face, this face along this vector, and now I will drive the constraint. Let's say 20 by 360. Let's say 10. And let's say drive minus. So we have a problem. Just a second ago, the constraint was possible to apply, but it is not possible to drive the constraint. So when I'm turning the handle, this travels nicely. When I apply the constraint, angular constraint, between this along this vector, I can place, let's say, a number here, and I can try to edit that. So you can see 10, 0, minus 10, minus 50. So I can edit that, but when I try to drive it, it brings up an error. So this is the first problem. Now, there were various suggestions whether to free the inside elements of the flexible assembly and ground it or not, or to constrain them or not. So I will delete this constraint temporarily, and this is the thing that I want to share with you. So if we go to the flexible assembly, this is this one, we are in the master positional representation, and as you can see here, we do not have these constraints to the origin of the assembly, so this piece is free to fly inside. I personally very much do not like this approach, and now I will turn on those constraints that I have here. I will start with these two ones. So it is now constrained to the x-axis of the assembly, and it is constrained so it does not rotate inside. Once updated that, it still works here, and now I try again with the angular constraint between that and that, and it is possible to apply, it is possible to be edited. So, but is it possible to be driven? So it also brings up an error. So I will delete it once again, and if you can see here, when I am turning the handle, this drives nicely. So there is only a problem with driving this constraint. I will now activate the last constraint that I have here. I will move the bearing so it is closer. I will save that. So now I have the assembly in which the components are constrained to the assembly itself using only three constraints. This bolt is constrained to the assembly, and on the top level I have it flexible. And now what we can observe is, once I have turned on this constraint, I will demonstrate it to you. I will now suppress it. Once it is suppressed, the handle is possible to drag and rotate with the mouse. Once I activate this constraint, although it has nothing, really nothing to do with anything, it just fixes the bolt not to travel along. So now I can, for some reason, cannot move the handle. So this is one inconsistency, that this dependency between this constraint and being possible to rotate the handle or not is really wondering, because it should not happen. These two constraints have nothing to do with anything. Once I am turning the handle, this constraint does nothing because this bolt stays where it is. It cannot move because other constraints apply. So I will turn it on now. Now I want to check whether it is possible to apply the angular constraint between this and along this vector. So it is possible to apply. Is it possible to drive this constraint? So it is not possible to drive this constraint for some reason. Is it possible to edit this constraint? No, it is not possible to edit this constraint for some reason. So why it is not possible to edit this constraint now? This is ridiculous dependency between this and that. If I suppress this, I can edit that. Why it is dependent? It has nothing to do with anything. So it should not be like that. So I would like this to be explained, why this is not possible to use. When the constraint that I am turning on and off in the flexible assembly has nothing to do with the movement of this element. Really, it has nothing to do. It does not move. So this I would like to bring up to your attention, and I would like to ask you, I am asking you to look in this model and try to find out what is wrong with the constraint solver, so it is not capable of solving the angular constraint driving this, when this constraint is basically as I was showing, the angular constraint cannot be driven no matter what now. So this is the question now. Can you please try to answer that?